Hey everyone, this is Steve with Exposed Healthcare. Another article here that I'm going to read to you. This one's angry at Big Pharma, directed at Big PBM. PBM are pharmacy benefit managers. A lot of people are angry at pharmaceutical companies. However, they don't even know pharmacy benefit managers exist. And this article is about redirecting that anger towards them, not because they're the only culprit, but they're definitely kind of come by unnoticed. So Big Pharma has a very bad reputation. 58% disapprove. However, people should really be pissed at another small group of companies or oligopolies. According to Scott Noer, former CEO of APHA, the American Pharmacy Association. The top three PBMs, or pharmacy benefit managers in the US, are CVS Caremark, you've probably heard of them, Express Scripts, so, some of you have heard of them, and Optum RX Group Holdings Incorporated. Um, Probably a little bit less people have heard of them. However, they control 80% of the market share for prescription benefits in the US. So 80% of the prescriptions that are run at your pharmacy go through them, kind of like Visa, MasterCard. With that high market share comes lots of power and thus corruption, which I will expose in this article. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the only person talking about exposing PBMs. Ben Link, Antonio Caccia at 46 Brooklyn Research, and the Columbus Dispatch have all been at it for years. However, the general public still doesn't really know or understand the harm PBMs cause for the entire healthcare system. I interviewed two pharmacists for this article who have intimate experience with PBMs. Bryce Platt, a pharmacist consultant, and Scott Noer, like I said, previous um, president of APHA and now chief innovation and pharmacy officer at HIMSS. They got to see what happens behind closed doors and are consulting with clients to show them the truth. Let's start with the basics. What is a PBM in the most simplest terms? According to Dr. Platt, a PBM is supposed to help insurance companies determine which drugs have better ROI based on clinical cost effectiveness. Prescriptions are supposed to decrease hospitalizations and medical costs. According to Dr. Noer, they are a middleman between insurance companies and patients. Now, let's find out what needs to be exposed to the public. Per Dr. Platt, it is about the opaqueness of contracts between the PBM, pharmacy, and payer, as the PBM keeps the difference in cost of the medication called spread pricing. So they keep it. Another important part, according to Dr. Platt, is that formularies are structured based on drug rebates instead of the ROI for the payer. Drug rebates occur when a pharmaceutical company pays a PBM to put their drug on the formulary or in a better place on the formulary. If this sounds like a bribe to you, according to Dr. Platt and Dr. Noer, you would be correct. Not only is it a bribe, Dr. Noer also believes it is extortion by the PBM against the pharmaceutical companies for formulary placement. He believes the PBMs are extorting, almost like a mafia boss, going to different businesses and be like, "Hey, give us $100 so we don't rob your business." According to Dr. Platt, PBMs are able to be prosecuted under antitrust laws, and the executors are even liable under criminal laws with fines and even jail time. According to Dr. Noor, the industry phrase is pay to play. Doctors can't take kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies, so why are PBMs allowed to take rebates or a bribe which decides whether medication's covered or not? So a doctor basically is not able to get like a vacation paid by a drug manufacturer to increase their prescribing, but a pharmacy benefit manager is able to take rebates in the millions in order to have the drug placed, which will obviously increase the dispensing of the medication for their beneficiaries. Kind of weird. Therefore, rather than your medication being covered because it is good, it is because the pharmaceutical company paid the right bribe. If we go into more granular detail, Dr. Noah agrees with Dr. Platt on the above and brought up DIR fees, which are fees charged to pharmacies by PBMs. According to Dr. Noah, DIR fees are an example of something government screwed up, but by creating performance metrics the pharmacists have little control over, allowing manipulation of the system in line to line the pockets of the PBMs. So DIR fees are a way PBMs can take money back from the pharmacies when patients are not taking their medications. However, Dr. Noor explained these are things pharmacies often have no control over. A lot of times, pharmacies can't control whether a patient is getting the medication more or less. The patient wants it, doesn't want it, forgets to take it, remembers to take it. It's hard for a pharmacist to control that. Dr. Noor also mentioned that PBMs are in bed with the brokers and they are getting kickbacks. So when an insurance company looks for a PBM, they often go through a broker, which has a financial incentive to push toward the PBM, which gives them the biggest commission, not the one that will do the best job. Both Dr. Platt and Dr. Noor agreed that they noticed the start of these seemingly illegal actions in 2017 and 2018 with the advent of DIR fees and spread pricing. It's kind of, this was about value based care. It's about getting the healthcare industry to be more about outcomes rather than just filling. However, it's lining the pockets of these pharmacy benefit managers. Since then, Dr. Platt believes PBMs need to be prosecuted under antitrust monopoly laws, and Dr. Noor agrees and goes further to say PBMs are arrogant, don't care about the havoc they are wreaking, and have a brazen lack of shame. Since writing this article, the FTC did launch a antitrust investigation into PBMs, and that is in the process. For retail pharmacists, PBMs should be seen as their biggest enemy, as they are the reason for profit margins going down every year to the point that 50% of drugs lose money, 40% break even, and 10% make money, according to Dr. Platt. According to Dr. Noor, 20 years ago, you had time to talk to the patients, but now, due to reduced margins because of PBM shenanigans, pharmacies need very high volume to make up for the reduced reimbursement per prescription. This has led to an incredibly stressful work environment in community pharmacies as pharmacists are forced to work at an often unsafe pace, and this is negatively impacting patient care. I saw this firsthand as a community pharmacist at CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, and independent pharmacy. And over my career, over the past 10 years, I saw the pressure come on hard. It doesn't matter where it was. So, what needs to be done? According to Dr. Platt, PBMs will not change on their own. And Dr. Noor says they need to be regulated. They're also both happy that the FTC is doing a probe now, which is surprising since, according to Dr. Platt, the FTC has not been enforcing laws for the past 50 years. So we all know about U.S. Steel and from learning about antitrust laws when they first came out um, about 100 years ago. And those were regulated, those were enforced. But for the past 50 years, according to Dr. Platt, FTC has been pretty much mum. Dr. Noor added that the vertically integrated oligopolies need to be broken up. State laws need to ban spread pricing. DIR fees need to be illegal. And PBMs should be required to be fiduciaries for their clients. Pause on that. Fiduciaries for the clients. What that means is they have a legal responsibility to do things in the benefit of their clients, which they don't do now. Right now, PBMs don't act in the benefit of their clients. They act in the benefit of their people, the companies that are paying them bribes. They are not acting in the best interest of insurance companies or in the employers they represent. They are not acting in the best interest of insurance companies, but in the interest of their own bottom lines, which is exactly what oligopolies do. I mean, technically, all companies do that, but they're acting against the interest of their own clients. That's something that most companies don't do. They abuse their position and have so much power that even their clients that pay them have no choice. This might be dramatic, but I asked them also who is more evil, PBMs or Big Pharma? According to Dr. Platt, neither is good, but PBMs are worse because they have much more power. Pharma uses clinical research as a marketing tool as they own the whole clinical research vertical so they can manipulate that. Also, pharma is trying to make PBMs happy instead of focusing on patients. According to Dr. Noah, PBMs are more evil because they do nothing of value. It goes on to say, Pharma at least makes drugs. We would not have had Pfizer or Moderna vaccines or cancer therapies, mRNA pipeline, gene therapy. According to Dr. Noah, there is no question Pharma adds value. However, PBMs don't. Dr. Noah has not been shy about his feelings about PBMs and explained when he was the chief pharmacy officer at Cleveland Clinic that executives at CVS Health called his boss and told him to be quiet. He explained that, not surprisingly, all the C suites are talking to each other. Yep, cigar rooms. Dr. Platt also wanted to note that specialty pharmacy is an aspect of PBMs that they tote to payers can reduce costs, although they don't achieve this partially due to horrible communication. Specialty drugs are an industry term for prescriptions that are expensive and require special counseling. PBMs either have their own specialty pharmacies that will deliver the medication, or they will contract with one of a few specialty pharmacies to handle certain medications. The point of this arrangement is to control the cost. However, according to Dr. Platt, it only fills their bank accounts with more money at the expense of insurance companies and patients. According to Dr. Platt, there is a silver lining with a small group of PBMs called transparent PBMs, including With Me Health, Capital RX, and Mako RX. Instead of keeping the rebate from the pharmaceutical company, they pass on the rebate to the insurer. Therefore, instead of a bribe, it is just a discount for the payer. Dr. Platt explained that their contracts and fees are transparent, so there isn't spread pricing. Sorry about that, spread pricing. According to Dr. Noah, these PBMs say they will be transparent, but the money is so big that they start playing shell games. However, he did note that Capital RX and Emsana RX, a public benefit corporation founded by Greg B., are both trying to do it right. Long story short, PBMs are under the microscope of the FTC and hopefully will be regulated for everybody's sake. When people complain about drug prices, they blame pharma, insurance companies, and even the pharmacy. They never think about PBMs because they don't know they exist. So, wrote this article how many 11 months ago about, and I don't really see much change with that. Oh, there's some comments from about a year ago. Thank you for sharing your views on PBM and how incumbent PBMs have gotten fatter. This is a great article explaining PBM of their okay. Um, I'm a part of okay. I'm a part of Transparent PBM with personalized medication guidance at the core of it. We provide a lot more value. Okay, for retail pharmacies, PBM should be seen as their biggest enemy. I doubt CVS, one of the largest pharmacies which owns CVS, Caremark, and Aetna, see their subsidiary as an enemy. Uh, So I agree, yeah, for those people they don't see there as an enemy, but the non CVS pharmacies, although they've closed down CVS pharmacy, they closed down 900 CVSs. To no question, pharma adds value, however, PBMs don't. When insurance companies began offering prescription drugs as a health benefit in the 1960s, PBMs were created to help insurers contain drug spending. Originally, PBMs decided which drugs were offered in formulas and administered drug claims. In the 1970s, PBMs began to adjudicate prescription drug claims. In the 1990s, drug manufacturers began acquiring PBMs. Drug manufacturers began acquiring PBMs. I don't know about that. Morale says, you are spot on. PBMs yield too much power. Even Mark Cuban admits his bypassing of PBMs is a genuine effort and works now, but there is a risk of big whales coming after cost plugs drugs in the future. It's true. Let's see. Okay, Scott Schmello wrote, the PBM industry can barely hide or contain what they're doing, especially now that they're vertically integrated with the commercial healthcare insurance industry. The last time the PBMs were vertically integrated with the pharmaceutical industry, that was a disaster that was ultimately undone by successful litigation. Huh. However, the FTC is now seriously examining what the PBM industry is doing, and ultimately it may require the U.S. Justice Department to sue to undo the latest vertical integration. I did not know that pharmaceutical companies were buying the PBMs. That is interesting. Okay. Um, so anyway, thank you for listening. This is Exposed Healthcare YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, Comment with your thoughts. Love to hear what you say. Who's worse, big pharma, pharmacy benefit managers? Um, and also, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Expose Healthcare newsletter on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Peace.